The arrogant billionaire has never been humbled until he met the mystery man. Derek Harrington, a billionaire with a reputation for arrogance, strode into the Maison Royale, New York City's most exclusive restaurant. It was 2 p.m., his usual lunch hour, and the dining hall glowed with luxury. Crystal chandeliers hung from the high ceiling, casting soft light on marble floors polished to a mirror shine. Gold-trimmed tables sparkled, and the air carried the scent of fresh roses and rich spices from the kitchen. Outside, the city buzzed with honking taxis and towering skyscrapers under a bright afternoon sun. Harrington, tall and broad-shouldered, wore a tailored navy suit that screamed wealth. His $5 million designer wristwatch gleamed on his wrist, and he chewed a thick cigar, puffing smoke as he spoke in a loud, commanding voice. 4 bodyguards in black suits surrounded him, their eyes scanning the room, ensuring everyone noticed their boss. Harrington loved the spotlight. He walked with a swagger, as if the restaurant belonged to him, his smug grin daring anyone to challenge his presence. The Maison Royale was a haven for the city's elite, where only the richest could dine. A single meal here cost more than a month's rent for a family in the suburbs. The waiters, dressed in crisp white shirts and black vests, hurried to prepare Harrington's favorite table by the floor-to-ceiling windows, where he could be seen by passers-by on the busy Manhattan street. One bodyguard took his coat, folding it carefully over his arm, while another pulled out a plush velvet chair. Harrington sat, puffing his cigar, and barked, "Bring me your finest, most expensive wine. Hurry up, money's no object." The waiters nodded, their hands trembling slightly as they rushed to the cellar. In his office, the manager, Mr. Thompson, watched Harrington on the security cameras. His heart pounded. Harrington was their biggest customer, and his visits brought prestige and pressure. A single complaint from him could ruin the restaurant's name. Thompson adjusted his tie, smoothed his thinning hair, and hurried to the dining hall. "Mr. Harrington, what an honor to have you dine with us again," he said, his voice shaky with respect. Harrington barely glanced at him, waving a hand dismissively, as if the manager were a servant. Other diners, dressed in designer clothes, whispered about him, their voices hushed. They avoided his gaze, afraid of his power. Harrington thrived on their fear. It made him feel untouchable, like the king of New York. A leather-bound menu was placed before him, its pages edged with gold. Harrington flipped through it, his lips curling. "These dishes are for peasants," he muttered, his voice loud enough for nearby tables to hear. He stopped at the VVIP page, where the prices were higher than most people's salaries. "Aha, that's what real money looks like," he said, smirking. He ordered a lavish feast, lobster drizzled with edible gold, fresh oysters flown in from France, a rare Wagyu steak grilled by the head chef, and a truffle pasta that cost a fortune. "Only the best for me," he said, leaning back, his cigar smoke curling into the air. As Harrington's voice echoed through the restaurant, a man sat quietly in the corner, unnoticed by the wealthy crowd. Daniel Cole wore a plain white golf t-shirt, faded denim jeans, and unbranded sneakers. His table was simple, a plate of grilled chicken, steamed vegetables, a glass of orange juice, and a pitcher of water. He ate slowly, his movements calm, his face serene. To the other diners, he looked like he didn't belong, like a worker who wandered into the wrong place. A young waiter, Sarah, passed by his table, curious. She'd seen him here before, always alone, always polite. "Need anything else, sir?" she asked softly. Cole smiled. "I'm good, thank you,"
he said, his voice warm. Sarah nodded, wondering why someone so ordinary chose to dine here. Harrington was about to take his first bite when he spotted Cole. His smile vanished. He dropped his spoon and slammed his fist on the table, making the crystal glasses rattle and the silver cutlery jump. "Peasant!" he shouted, pointing at Cole. "He reeks of poverty. I hate poverty." The restaurant fell silent, all eyes on Harrington. He laughed, a loud, mocking sound that filled the room. "Looks like a mailman got lost and is eating table scraps." The other diners chuckled nervously, not wanting to anger him. Harrington snapped his fingers at Sarah. "Go give that poor man a proper meal. He clearly can't afford one." He laughed again, enjoying the drama he'd created. Sarah approached Cole, her face flushed with embarrassment. "Sir, Mr. Harrington offers to pay for a better meal," she said quietly. Cole looked up, his eyes steady and kind. "No, thank you," he said. "I'm happy with my food." Sarah hesitated, unsure how to respond. She glanced back at Harrington, who was glaring. His face turned red with anger. "Nonsense!" he roared, standing so fast his chair scraped the floor. "No one refuses me." He tossed his napkin on the table. He said, his voice dripping with disdain, "This place isn't what it used to be." Mr. Thompson rushed over, sweat beading on his forehead. "Mr. Harrington, is the food not to your liking? Did our chef make a mistake? What can we do to fix this?" he pleaded, his hands clasped. Harrington pointed at Cole. "That peasant dares to eat here. He's several levels beneath me. I thought Maison Royale was a safe haven for the elite. Get him out, or I'll never set foot here again." The doorman, Colin, a young man with tired eyes and worn shoes, spoke up. "I let him in," he said, his voice shaking but firm. "Our restaurant's rule is to treat everyone equally." Colin had worked at Maison Royale for years, saving every penny to support his sick mother. He believed in the restaurant's ethos, even if others ignored it. The manager's face twisted with anger. "Silence!" he snapped. "All customers are not equal. You're fired, Colin."
Cole stood, his presence quiet but commanding. "You can't fire him," he said, his voice steady. "He did nothing wrong." Harrington laughed, his voice booming. "Peasants defending peasants! How adorable!" The manager signaled for security, and 2 guards in black uniforms stepped forward to escort Cole and Colin out. Cole's voice cut through the tension like a knife. "How would you like to speak to your superior, Mr. Warren Wallace? Mr. W.?" Laughter erupted across the restaurant. Harrington smirked, leaning forward. "You know Mr. W.? I've been chasing a contract with him for years and haven't met him. His name makes even me feel small." A woman at a nearby table called out, "No one has Mr. W.'s number. He calls you." The diners laughed harder, mocking Cole's claim. Harrington thought back to his own rise to wealth. He'd grown up poor, mocked by richer kids. He swore he'd never feel small again. That's why he flaunted his wealth, why he needed everyone to fear him. The idea of this plain man knowing Mr. W. was absurd. "You've lost it," he sneered. "How dare you speak his name?" Cole pulled out a simple phone, nothing flashy. "Warren, I need you at Maison Royale, Manhattan, now," he said, his voice calm but firm. The room filled with mocking laughter. Colin whispered to Cole, "Thank you for defending me, but please don't get in trouble. Mr. W. isn't someone to mess with." Cole gave him a reassuring nod, his eyes steady. Just then, tires screeched outside. A convoy of black SUVs pulled up, their glossy surfaces reflecting the afternoon sun.
A chauffeur in a crisp uniform leaped out and opened the door of a luxury SUV. A polished black leather shoe stepped onto the brick pavement, catching the light. Mr. Warren Wallace, a tall man in his mid-50s, emerged. His bespoke suit fit like a second skin, and his graying hair was neatly combed. His clean-shaven face carried the aura of a king. His bodyguards, stern and silent, walked ahead and behind him. The restaurant's glass doors swung open, and Mr. W. entered, his presence silencing the room. The air felt heavy, like a storm about to break. The manager stammered, "Mr. W., how nice to have you for your routine check." He forced a smile, hoping to hide his panic. Harrington stepped forward, his hand outstretched. "Derek Harrington, sir! An honor!" Mr. W. ignored him, walking straight to Cole. He lowered his head respectfully. "Sir, I didn't know you'd be dining here today. I'd have ensured a table to your taste." He turned to the manager, who was now trembling, sweat dripping down his face. "You're lucky to have the owner of all Maison Royale restaurants dine at your branch." Gasps echoed through the room. Harrington sank into his chair, his face pale, his cigar forgotten. Diners whispered, "The owner? Him?" Then it hit them, the D. Cole on the restaurant's logo. Daniel Cole, owner of D. Cole Conglomerates, controlled half of New York's businesses and had companies on every continent. Sarah, the waiter, covered her mouth, realizing she'd served the most powerful man without knowing. The manager fell to his knees. "Please, sir, forgive me. I didn't know," he begged, his voice breaking.
Cole's voice was calm but firm. Treat everyone with respect, no matter how they look or what they wear. That's the true ethos of this restaurant. He turned to Colin, who stood wide-eyed. "You stood for what's right. That's the mark of a leader. You're the new manager of this branch." The room buzzed with shock, and Colin's eyes filled with tears. He thought of his mother, who'd be proud of him now. Cole faced Harrington, who looked small for the first time. "True wealth isn't what you show off, it's what you don't need to show," Cole said. Harrington sat frozen, his designer wristwatch feeling heavy, his cigar ash falling to the table. He thought of his childhood, the shame of being poor, the need to prove himself. Cole's words cut deep. He saw the diners, the waiters, even Colin looking at him, not with fear, but with pity. For the first time, Harrington felt ashamed. The next day, Harrington returned to the Maison Royale. He wore a simple suit, no flashy wristwatch, no cigar. The restaurant was quieter, but the chandeliers still sparkled. He found Colin in the manager's office, organizing papers. "Colin," Harrington said, his voice soft, "I was wrong. I'm sorry. I want to learn to be better." Colin smiled, surprised but kind. "Take a seat, Mr. Harrington," he said. "Let's talk." From that day, Harrington changed. He stopped flaunting his wealth. He listened to people, from waiters to business partners. He gave to charities quietly, without needing praise. Cole's lessons stayed with him, a reminder that true power comes from humility, not arrogance. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more exciting and dramatic stories. Tell us in the comments where in the world you're watching from. Until next time, stay blessed and keep watching Ugo's True Tales, where every story leaves a mark.